Good evening. You are watching News Mongolian MNB World. I am your host, Jogder Gambold. And for our top stories for today. A total of 8,000 people will be released from the public service. E-business platform for entrepreneurs was launched. A conference has been held regarding child protection issues. For other news, stay with us. As part of the COVID-19 pandemic law, the process of releasing officials and employees who were assigned to government offices and state-owned companies has begun. Amar Baisalang, head of the government secretariat, announced today that 2,000 people have been released from their duties in the first round.
The government has initiated the 5-ish operations and declared 2023 as the year to fight corruption. The primary goal of this operation is to ensure that civil servants abide the law and to prevent actions that undermine the civil service. Currently, more than 225 government employees are being paid by the budget, and approximately 75,000 people are working in state and locally owned companies. Overall, there are around 300,000 individuals employed by the state. Citizens have voiced criticism regarding the abilities and ranks of civil servants, as well as their attitudes and ethics. Additionally, there are concerns regarding individuals who do not meet the requirements of the public service and are working as parasites within the system. The government aims to prioritize the removal of these illegally appointed members from government organizations to clean up the civil service. The practice of providing government jobs or state-owned industry positions based on party affiliation or connections to politicians must be discontinued. It is essential to put an end to the fear of who will lead our organization and the belief that inactivity is acceptable. The sweep operation has highlighted a problem with 6,000 to 8,000 civil servants, and the government is taking action to address this issue. Approximately 2,000 civil servants were released from duty due to the implementation of the COVID-19 law, which was stopped in January of this year. The 2023 state budget has been approved, including a provision that individuals receiving pensions will not be paid from the budget. More than 5,000 individuals currently receive pensions and hold dual governmental jobs. However, there may be a shortage of personnel in rural areas with smaller populations, which may require the assistance of retired individuals with specialized skills. The implementation of pandemic law has been suspended since January 1st of this year. As a result, about 2,000 officials and employees of state and state-owned enterprises were dismissed. However, these employees can be reconsidered on the basis of passing the civil service examination and other necessary examinations. Secondly, starting from 2023, there is a regulation that citizens who go on merit leave will not be paid from the budget. Today, about 5,000 people are working in the governmental service while receiving pensions. However, due to a shortage of personnel in rural areas, there are some who are forced to work. In addition to this, the government will settle the difference between double salaries for non-essential positions. Therefore, it is advisable to work on this aspect and make the necessary legal arrangements. The sweep operation has been progressing successfully, and government organizations and senior decision-making officials must submit their information in writing to the government by April 10th. The civil service law mandates that individuals being dismissed from civil service must be given 1 month's notice, and the law regulates their dismissal. However, it has been observed that some individuals have been dismissed immediately based on an official letter signed by the head of the state government. This deliberate violation of the civil service law creates an interest in pursuing legal and supervisory channels to address this issue. Information regarding the measures to be taken should be submitted by April 6th, and notices of dismissal should be given to those being released from public service within this period. The government expects compliance with the law and has the right to demand implementation from others. These actions are not the result of repression or cruel policy decisions, but rather reflect the government's commitment to following the law.
The opening of the e-business platform for digitalization of government services in the business environment was organized on April 6th at the Genghis Khan Museum. The platform aims to create a favorable and open electronic environment for business, remove government pressure, eliminate any problems faced by businesses, and eliminate paper bureaucracy. It is a significant step.
The e-business platform is introducing a total of 685 services, including 226 government services, 42 references, and 417 special licenses related to legal entities. This will simplify the process of establishing a new enterprise, allowing for the electronic registration of a legal entity's name, state registration, list of assets, electronic certificate, stamp inspection sheet, and other permission requests and renewals. At the opening ceremony, Prime Minister Oyerton Namsra highlighted the government's efforts to create a favorable business environment, including the implementation of Vision 2050 and the new revival policies. These initiatives aim to support business owners and promote economic growth. The e-Mongolia platform has 1.5 million users. With the opening of the e-business platform, if you used to go to the tax and state registration, it is enough to open your mobile phone. The main position of the government is to rely on technology's progress without directly confronting people and aims to reduce bureaucracy. This will be important in the investment and business environment. You don't have to come to Ulaanbaatar city from any local area. Prime Minister Oyerton has stressed the importance of citizens obtaining digital signatures in order to contribute to the creation of an electronic Mongolia free of corruption and bureaucracy. This, he believes, will be a revolutionary step forward. He is calling on all citizens to obtain digital signatures, which are provided free of charge for a period of 5 years to citizens of Mongolia over the age of 16, as per the law on electronic signatures. The state registration organization has already started issuing digital signatures through the electronic machine of the state registration service to citizens who have applied for it since May 1st, 2022. From August 12, 2022, the process of issuing digital signature certificates for a mobile application has been initiated. As of today, 603,000 citizens have been issued digital signatures. The digitization of government services is progressing rapidly, with 839 services from 71 government organizations integrated into e-Mongolia system, and the number of permits reduced from 1,600 to 360 under the law on permits. Furthermore, the General Department of Professional Inspection was abolished, eliminating 13 duplications of inspection in 26 directions. Other noteworthy developments include the State Bank issuing an IPO, Utness Mongolia selecting employees through open selection, the start of public control of state-owned companies, and ongoing policies to support the local business environment.
A conference regarding child protection issues was organized at the Government Palace on April 6th. The conference was attended by secondary school teachers, social workers, and psychiatrists who discussed child protection issues in Mongolia. In the past, Mongolia issued laws and regulations on the issue of child protection rights, defining the responsibilities of all parties, from citizens to the state. Provisions are made to protect children from all forms of violence, harassment, and exploitation. However, the parties involved in the conference are concerned that the cycle of children being victimized by crime is not ending, and serious crime is not decreasing. The Ministry of Education and Science is speaking from the point of view that it is necessary to change the current regulations in which only social workers are responsible for child protection at general education schools, and to ensure a multi-stakeholder participation.
Since there is a full team of psychologists, librarians, nutritionists, doctors, and social workers at a school, it's necessary to form a school council that includes all these people as part of the school structure. Today, social workers at secondary schools have a big workload. Each social worker is responsible for more than 2,000 students. In particular, it's noteworthy that the problems of communication between children related to social retardation and the problems of peer bullying are more acute now compared to before the COVID pandemic.
School social workers themselves need to talk more about child development and education than about internal affairs. They need to organize activities that help children transform education learning into life skills.
According to an explanation of professional organizations, violations and crimes against the rights of children are most often committed in a family context, school environment, public events, as well as in a media and online environment. As of 2023, more than 1,200 crimes against the children have been registered nationwide. Please take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by the Central Bank of Mongolia. Now, please have foreign news partnered with international news agencies. French President Emmanuel Macron expressed hope to discuss international issues, including the war in Ukraine, during his meeting with Zhao Lezi, the head of China's national legislature.
Emmanuel Macron said he was delighted to discuss major bilateral and international issues on Thursday with Zhao, chairman of the Standing Committee of China's National People's Congress. I'm delighted to have the opportunity today to discuss with you these major bilateral issues, these major international issues, and obviously the context of the war in Ukraine following the Russian aggression, and therefore the very important issue of peace and stability for our world. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for giving us this opportunity. He also raised the same issues with Chinese Premier Li Qiang in a meeting earlier of the day. French officials said earlier that Macron planned to urge Chinese President Xi Jinping to use Beijing's influence on Russia to promote peace, but didn't expect a big shift in the Chinese position. Zhao held the bilateral relations between China and France, which has maintained a good momentum of development. In the past 5 years, President Xi Jinping and Mr. President Macron have remained in close contact with each other and had 24 exchanges either in person or online, jointly leading the momentum of maintaining positive development of the China-France relations in the new era. This has set an example for countries with different political systems, in different stages of development, and with different cultures to achieve mutual benefit and win-win situation through friendly cooperation. He said that two countries have set an example for countries with different values to achieve win-win situation.
China's economic rebound will inject greater impetus to the overall recovery of global trade in 2023, with the international tourism industry set to receive a huge boost from China's reopening, a World Trade Organization official said on Wednesday.
The WTO has forecast that global trade growth will slow to 1.7% this year, down from the 2.7% expansion of 2022, according to its annual trade statistics and outlook report, which was published on Wednesday. The volume of world merchandise trade has been weighed down by the effects of the conflict in Ukraine, high inflation, tighter monetary policy, and financial market uncertainty, the report said. However, the forecast for trade growth in 2023 is up from the previous estimate of 1% from last October. China's adjustment of its COVID-19 measures is a key factor in this increase, the report said, while the country's reopening is expected to boost international trade. Barbara D'Andrea Adrian, a senior statistician at the WTO, said at a press conference in Geneva that China's economic and trade growth is expected to perform well this year and help fuel the economic recovery of other developing economies.
Prior to the pandemic, China was the largest outbound tourism market and the largest spender. And this has contributed over the years to GDP growth in many developing economies. And we think that China can make a very important contribution to the recovery of these economies.
Despite the projected dip in growth this year, the report says global trade growth should rebound to 3.2% in 2024, with global GDP growth picking up to 2.6%. However, the WTO report stresses that current estimates are more uncertain than unusual due to the presence of substantial downside risk, including geopolitical tensions, food supply shocks, and the possibility of unforeseen fallout from monetary tightening.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying tuned. We'll see you next time with more news and updates. Have a nice day.